Hi everyone! So today I want to talk about kanji. So if you are already learning Japanese or if you're planning to learn Japanese, you know that kanji is really basically one of the hardest things to know about Japanese because there are just so many kanji to remember. So today I want to give you my 4 personal tips to remember kanji. My first tip is to write them. So this may sound obvious because, well, of course you're gonna write your kanji. But it's more of a writing them over and over to just get them into your mind so you will remember them. So this usually works on the short term, but on the long term it might be harder because there's kanji that you will never remember, even though it's simple or not. Like, it just won't get in your mind. So it's okay, like this method doesn't work for everything, but I think it's a good beginning to start learning kanji. Just write them. My second tip is to use them. So this may sound obvious again, but if you don't use your kanji, you're not going to remember them. Like, if you use it once in a while, you just won't remember them. You'll be like, what's this kanji again? So, like, the more you use them, the more you remember them. For example, like verbs, like hiyu, ataraku, benkyou shimasu, stuff like that. You remember them because we use them a lot. But if it's a word you never use, for example, for me, I can't remember jisho all the time because we never use it, and I just tend to forget it. Yeah, it's just out of my mind. Like, what's this again? And I'm like searching on my phone. So obviously you have to use them. So if you have a Japanese class or if you're learning with a teacher or someone, it's easier to write. But if you are learning Japanese by yourself, like, when are you going to use it? I would suggest you to write simple sentences or just simple text, even if it's for yourself, just to practice writing them and just to memorize them. If you don't have the motivation to write text for yourself, there's a lot of way on the internet to just start talking with Japanese native speaker and write to them so you can actually practice. Of course, it's not going to be writing like with a pen, more on your computer. It's easier, but it's still gonna help. I will talk about some site you can go on my blog post if you want to read. The third tip I have for you is to create stories with your kanji. I can explain most of my story because they are in French, but if you take each part of the kanji, you can kind of write a small story to help you remember them, or just knowing different parts. It can be the real meaning of the part of the kanji, but it also can be something you invent by yourself. I'm gonna give you an example. Here I have shuku, for like shukudai, or shinjuku, for example. So for me, this is the roof, the top part, and then this is hito, person, and then this is yaku, 100. So for me, it's like, since Shinjuku is really crowded, it's like 100 person on the roof, and that's how I remembered it. So every time I write it, I'm like, roof, hito, yaku, and that's how I remember it. So it might be really simple, but it's really helped a lot. And now, if you don't want to start trying to find stories by yourself for each kanji, you can try the Isaac method. You can search on the internet. Basically, it's give you story for each kanji, so you don't have to invent it yourself. For me, it's not really effective because it's harder to learn the kanji and the stories that go with it. But for some people, it's really, really useful. So I think maybe it can be the right method for you, so you can try it and see what you think about it. The fourth and last method is my favorite. It's to use flashcard. So basically you can use flashcard to remember anything, but for Japanese it's pretty useful. You can make them yourself with paper and a pen, obviously, but this requires a lot of time and effort. I used to do this in university, but then it took a lot of time. So now what I do is I use a flashcard program called Enki, You can download it for free on the internet and it's super useful. So basically you can create your own deck of cards, or you can just download it on their website. They have a lot of Japanese deck to learn vocabulary, kanji, anything. If you are trying to do the GLPT, for example, they have deck for GLPT all level, so it's really useful. I create decks of flashcards for all the Akamonkai kanji book I have done so far. So I'll probably share it with you guys, so if you need it, it's really useful. So this was my 4 personal tips to remember kanji. I hope it was useful for you. I'm gonna write about it a bit more in my blog post. I'll put the link down below or somewhere. And if you have your own personal tips to remember kanji, please feel free to put it in the comment section below. I'll read them and it can be useful for other people as well. So thanks for watching and see you soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.